Yep, I'm rocking and rolling, buddy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got this. So when I was perusing around and I was like, okay, where am I going to record? And then I set up in the drum room, and I was like, no, I can't get a good feel here. And then I went into the basement, which would be okay, but the basement is a mess right now because I was given like 120 bottles of wine.
Sheesh.
So it was a mess, and then I couldn't, and down there I can't control the sound. So I was like, where else can I go? I'm going in my closet. And then I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And the sound is great. And I can control the outside sound too. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this. Fuck it. Go with it. Like you said, do it yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of the way, man.
So, big changes in your life
Yeah,
since
massive,
the last time.
massive
Yeah,
changes.
since the last time we did one of these. I don't even know how long it's been.
Probably close to 2 years.
Probably close to 2 years, which I can't believe that.
Yeah, time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah, I can't believe that. So massive changes. You picked up and you left your what because I retired from the Navy, and then I left Greece, and then probably about a year and a half later, I guess. Yeah, that's when you left.
Yeah, and I kind of picked up a really short notice and came back to the States.
And then, so like walk me through. I mean, obviously, there were the decisions to move and things like that. But then while you were in Greece, after I left, you were still involved with a lot of different, just a lot of different creative projects.
Yeah,
Walk me through some of those.
well, I was doing the filming for a feature-length movie, which was very like, I wouldn't even call it micro budget. It's more like a nano-budget feature-length movie, and was a camera operator for that, as well as one of the producers. And then on the post-production side, I've got probably 75-ish% of the post-production is sitting on my shoulders. Luckily, it's getting close to being finished. And then I was still doing my own short films on the side with that. And music was kind of on the back burner. There wasn't the kind of music scene I'm really interested in over there. And to get to anything like that, it required a lot of travel. So I couldn't really do regular flights to Germany and Italy and all that stuff. But I had a few opportunities to do like the Hanya Rock Festival. I did some shooting there. But it really didn't take long before I had to adjust fire and pick up and come back to the States.
And then since you've been back to the States, you've just started like you just kind of hit the ball rolling. I remember that you were talking to me about the opportunity, like you were excited about the opportunities, and even though like Suda Bay and like Greece was great, you were talking about opportunities that you were looking forward to when going back to the States.
Yeah, I mean, Greece was fantastic, and it's a bummer we had to leave early. But family medical stuff obviously takes priority. You gotta take care of your home life before anything else, and if that's not in order, then nothing else is going to be in order. But what I really missed during that 3 years was like the local music scene and going to metal shows and hardcore shows, because that didn't really exist on Crete. It's kind of like an isolated island, and logistically and economically, it's not really feasible for touring bands to get there. So you could see the big headliner metal shows and hardcore shows. But being back in this area, I'm kind of pretty much in the middle of Charleston, which has a thriving metal scene and hardcore scene, and Savannah, which also has a fantastic music scene. So it's like an hour and some change either direction. I can be there. So I was really stoked to get back to that. And I wanted to get my business back up off the ground. I ran an audio business before going to Greece, and then just the tax stuff and not really having the access to the resources there to operate my business. I just didn't do it for 3 years, and then just recently went through a rebrand and kind of starting fresh. But I'm not afraid to start over.
Man, you got the. We talk about it so much, but you got the freaking I don't know. You got this in my opinion, you got the skills, you got the tenacity for it, you got the drive for it.
Well, I definitely
Um,
I appreciate that, man. The one thing I can confidently say is that I have a work ethic, and I'll work circles around damn near everybody in the room. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. It's just I'm a crackhead.
right,
I'm a
right.
crackhead for this stuff. It's the main things I care about, and I don't get tired while I'm doing it. I don't get exhausted. I take breaks because I know it's necessary. But if I was a bionic man, I would just never stop.
So when you went back to the States, you were in, I mean, you went back because, your job allowed you to come back, and you went back to the job where you were there. And then I mean, can you tell me? I'm trying to think of how I phrase that. You were back at this job, and then you were working this job for a while, right? And then like the nature of the economy, or not really the economy, not getting political, but the current administration, like they offer to federal employees certain incentives to like find employment elsewhere, right?
Yeah, and we don't have to beat around the bush with it too much. And I'm not going to get heavy political leaning in any direction. But I was a government worker. I've been pretty much affiliated with the government in some way, shape, or form since 2011, and that includes military time and then civilian service to the Department of Defense, and did cybersecurity. I was a cybersecurity manager, and not incredibly high up on the totem pole, but high enough to be in charge of some stuff and in charge of some money, and just things going the way they were. And even outside of that, internally, I just couldn't stomach it anymore, man. It was wearing me down. I feel like I lost like the spark for life. I wasn't waking up with as my wife says, waking up with a song in my heart and a skip to my step, or I can't remember what her term is exactly, but just kind of waking up and going through the motions, and it just wasn't working out for me. And I don't know if you want to get into that part yet, but I've been doing a lot of like self-love exercises and recognizing my own self-worth and trying to prioritize my own mental health and taking care of myself. And shout out to the Chris Williamson podcast, Modern Wisdom. He doesn't need to shout out. Dude's wicked popular. But I was just listening to an episode of that driving home from work one day, and he was reading off this essay he wrote, and it was talking about your career versus like who you are. And there's this portion in it that he said, you can have all the trappings and accolades of someone successful on the outside, but on the inside, it all feels incredibly hollow. And then a part I really, really resonated with was that, but the next part even more so was that you begin to resent the people around you in this area because they, admire you or look up to you or respect you based on this person that you've kind of conned them into believing exists. Like that whole cyber manager thing, the high level IT guy. That really isn't me. I mean, I was good at it. I did it for a long time, but it doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't like nourish me. And it was accurate. I just didn't really want to talk to the people I was around, and getting any kind of praise for big wig inspections and stuff. I was just like, this is shit. I hate all of it. I don't care about these accolades. I don't care about the success. I got to do something else. And that podcast episode, of that part, pretty much caused me to pull my car over and just sit there and question my existence for a little bit. And that was the moment I said, fuck it, I'm done. I'm walking away from this. I don't care how hard it's going to be, how much more I'm going to work. I'm going to go take a chance on me. And that's kind of where we're at now. It's been close to a month, I guess. Maybe. Shit, no, it's been about a half a month. Today's only the 17th. Yeah, so it's been 17 days since I walked away.
But it just feels like not even knowing that it was a month or half a month. It's like, it's kind of like, who gives a shit, right? Like who gives a shit? Like it's over and that's it. And and you feel fucking just so much like you feel the opposite of what you're feeling now.
Yeah, I mean, like there's no more bad days, man, and that also kind of goes into the paying attention to myself and taking care of myself, and the neighborhood up here, because this neighborhood can be really bad sometimes. I don't always want to be around there, but instead of feeling like I'm having bad days, it's just like, was it really a bad day, or was it a bad 10 minutes? Like, come on, let's get over ourselves for a fucking minute. It was just a bad few minutes.
That's good. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just, I've heard other people say it before, and that's just I just choose to see it that way, and I don't wake up in bad moods anymore. Currently, nothing feels like work, and I mean, we've talked outside of this about some of that, where I give you my like voice notes when I'm working on a project, and like, man, I should be doing something productive right now. I should be contributing to something. Then I'm like, no, this is what I need to be doing. This is my job now. I'm getting paid to do this. And maybe eventually that'll taper off, and there'll be days where it does feel like work. But currently, it's fantastic, man. I think everybody needs to do this. Or if you aren't capable of doing it currently, make a plan to work towards it and get out of the rat race, man. Just the people in the rat race don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They appreciate you while you're there and while you're doing the work, but the minute you're gone, you're just a seek to fill, another number to replace, man. And in our world, that number is literally on the back of your ID card. It's your stock number, your serial number. There's another one that comes after it.
That's so true, dude. I used to tell my guys that whenever I was in, I used to say, if you get hit by an ice cream truck made of human skulls on the way home today, like, they're just gonna have somebody here replacing you in a couple of days or a couple of months. That's it.
Yeah.
And I used to tell them who, like, if that were to happen, who in your life would actually be affected by that,
Yeah.
or who in your life and what areas in your life would be affected by that. And then if you were to be able to look at that perspective from like above, what are the things that you will miss, or what are the things that you would say, I should have, I liked doing this, I could have done that, I could have done this. What are those things? And when you find out those answers, do that. It's a thought experiment that I think is very valuable. And just do those things that give you that sustain you, that they're kind of like this alternator, that as you're doing them, they're still like recharging you at the same time. And it's like a cliche, but I mean, like, we know cliches they're cliches because they're true.
Yeah, cliches exist for a reason. We all hate to hear them, we hate to say them, but there's a reason that they're there. There's a reason. They wouldn't be cliches if it wasn't true. There wasn't a truth to it somewhere.
It's so true, dude. And like the day that you had that, when you said you stopped on the side of the road and you were, like, you were listening to that podcast and then you stopped, and you sent me a message that day. Like, that day you sent me, it was the same message that you just said, something like, fuck it, man. Because we were talking about it before, and you were thinking about it, and so you talking to me about it, and then, not that my opinion matters, but as
no, your opinion matters greatly, man.
Holiest friends, and I was like, just, we're just kicking the ball back and forth,
Yeah, I was on the fence with it for a good while. I was really battling with it, and you said it, my wife said it, and they said, hey, you can't make this decision can't be made for you. You have to make it yourself. And I knew that. And I wasn't really looking for somebody to tell me, hey, go do it. I just was verbally hashing it out, bouncing it off other people's heads. And I knew which way I was going to go. I was just floundering on it. And at this point, I'm like, man, I waited so many years to say, fuck it, I'm doing this. I'm doing this for me. But I am grateful that, I'm only 34 years old. That's pretty damn young still, and I'm grateful that I figured it out at this age. That life is really short. I have no idea how much life I have left to live. I don't know how long my health's going to hold up because we both know I've had a lot of health issues in the past, and there's no time is going to be the perfect time. Granted, I had a lot of safeguards in place, and the timing really couldn't have been better. But even if all that fell apart, I think I still would have just made this decision and said, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm going to go play my own game. I'm going to take my ball and run.
Right. I mean, well, so that's the thing, man. Like betting on ourselves is such a scary thing because it's like what's that? Is a phrase in Stoicism something like we value other people's opinions more than our own. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Man, it's that is a lot like and I watched this wasn't a skit, it was a clip from a motivational speaker or something. I wish I could remember his name. But he said like the pears on the pear tree are not for the tree. It's for the people passing by, i.e., your gift is not for you. So you can get off the phone with a homie that's having like an existential crisis and give him all the advice in the world and be like, damn, why didn't I listen to that?
Right.
So if that makes sense, that your gift is not for you, it's for other people. And it's really hard to recognize what that is and to take it into consideration when you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, and we doubt ourselves. We doubt ourselves so much, and I mean, it in any other way, and all the ways that you can be creative, right? Like speaking of you specifically, photography, filmography, writing. You know what I mean? Like all the ways that you can put yourself out there because you want to do it. Man, we talk about it all the time. It's the resistance thing that we talk about from our Lord and Savior, Stephen Pressfield.
Stephen Pressfield, man, what a fucking life changer. And I wouldn't have found him if it wasn't for you. So I am like eternally grateful to you for putting me on. Like, I did not recognize your game, homie. And when you told me about Stephen Pressfield, that was a game changer. Like we always say, it was that like swift kick in the nuts that you needed. And I recommend it to everybody that will listen. Like, I don't care what they do in life. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're an underwater basket weaver or a window washer on a skyscraper. Read those books.
I mean, that concept alone of resistance is it. Like you said, it's so like fucking earth shattering.
It is.
Like it puts a face to this thing that you experience that you don't know. Like you don't know that you can't put your finger on it, right? For the most time, you just can't put your finger on it, man. And when I read that, I don't know. I read that book for the first time. I don't even know how long ago. I'd have to look in my book, and I think I have it written down. And I don't know where I got it from. I think I got it. I don't think I got it from Ryan Holiday. I may have got it from listening to a Tim Ferriss thing. I'm not sure. But anyway, a tiny book, and I was like, okay, let me open this thing up and I'll read it. And then, you're reading about it. And then all of a sudden, when he breaks down that idea of resistance, dude, it was literally like this thing that existed in my head or wherever it was. All of a sudden, it now had a form. Like instead of being this sort of like ambient ball of fucking mass that had now all of a sudden, it was like, oh shit, it has a face. You know what I mean? It has like four limbs, and sometimes it's a hydra, but at least now I know it is a thing. And that's like the greatest thing whenever you want to change something is you have to know that this thing exists before, you know what I mean? And dude, it was earth shattering for my earth.
Yeah. Same for me. It was like somebody opened a door that was in my house that I didn't even realize was there.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
Yeah, and like I have days that I fall off my routines, my habits, and some of those routines are
Oh
they're
yeah.
also in the book Atomic Habits and the Creative Habit, the Creative Act, the Twyla Tharp version, and the Rick Rubin version, and then all these books say the same thing. Whether you're reading the James Clear one or Stephen Pressfield, they all say the same
Right.
thing, and that I think that in itself tells you something about the world that so many different people in so many different walks of life that have become successful with whatever their craft is, all follow these same values, these
Right.
tenets, I guess you could say. And
Yes.
I have days that I fall off in some way, shape, or form. Like, we've talked about routines. Like, I wake up, I get my coffee or my hot tea. I read a page out of Daily Pressfield. I read a couple pages out of Stephen King's On Writing. Consider This by Chuck Palahniuk. All books that you've actually recommended to me. And some days I don't do any of the reading, but I still put in the reps with the other creative aspects. Whether it's editing some photos or color grading some film footage or editing a movie or playing some guitar or whatever. It's still put the work in every day.
Do you? Yeah, like you said, you fall off. I mean, everybody falls off the path. Like that's the path, right? The path is that. Do you notice a difference in like your daily demeanor or whatever when you don't do like a creative thing that's even just for you, not a creative thing that now you're required to do for work, but like just a creative thing for yourself? Do you notice like a difference in your mood or how you are when that doesn't happen for a couple of days?
Yeah, absolutely, man. If I go too long without some sort of creative output, whether it's work related, which I haven't had a problem with that yet. The jobs are coming in, and I'm just doing the work, and I'm loving every second of it. But for myself, if I don't have some sort of creative output, I start getting weird. It starts turning this up here under this hair and flesh and skull. It turns into a bad neighborhood real quick, and I guess that's probably just part of the being an artist in some way, shape, or form. I imagine everybody experiences that, but I get weird. I start getting restless. I get like moody, mood swings. I don't want to do anything. I want to just recluse. And all I got to do is just pick up the fucking guitar, pick up the camera, do something. And then immediately the day is 10 times better. They're back to normal, back to my baseline operating environment.
Dude, I I had the same like recently. I had my parents were here for 2 weeks, and I mean, I love my parents. We had a great time, But when you're there, like you're busy. You're doing a lot of different things. You're sightseeing. You're doing, they're implemented in the routine and everything. It's disrupted, but that's not disrupted in a bad thing. It just means that the normal routine is just off kilter just a little bit, right?
Yeah, yep.
No worries. Our guest room is my drum room too. So when
That's the
they were
worst.
here, yeah, you already know where this is going.
Yes.
And so with a lot of doing a lot of things that are outside of the routine, visiting a lot of places and this and that, and then no sort of creative outlet. And then also didn't make time to write or to draw or to do these other things I do because you're visiting, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I noticed I don't even know how to describe it, but like a weird. Well, you know me. You always make fun of me about all my woo woo shit.
And all your woo
which
woo shit.
I love all my woo woo shit, dude. So that's what makes me me. Anyway, weird vibration where I was like, I just felt like this weird, I don't know, magnetism. It didn't feel right. I got to play with my band for once, but then when the day my parents left, I wasn't feeling physically well. I just wasn't doing well. And I was like, I need to go work out, but I can't because I'm just not feeling well. And then I was sending a message to my dad or something. I was like, I'm gonna go for a walk just to clear my head. I said, no, wait a minute. I'm gonna go pull my drum set from my garage, and I'm going to use that method as like how it is, the method of constructing your rig as a meditative process. And then I'm just going to play drums. I'm not going to practice a certain skill or anything. I am just going to play. And dude, I swear after I did it, I felt like I was like cleansed in the holy waters and like went to a therapist session and just, I felt amazing. Just after 25 minutes of playing drums.
Yep, and I have days like that too, where I go too long without doing any of the creative output stuff, and I'm just like pacing around, and I'm like, oh, what is wrong with me, man? I just feel off today, and it's the answer's so obvious, but it's like you don't want to acknowledge it, and then finally I just get like desperate enough. I'm like, I'm just gonna go like fucking play guitar or something. I just plug my shit in and riff around for a little bit, and 20 minutes later, I'm like, huh, whatever I was annoyed about is gone now, so I'm gonna go back to whatever I was doing before.
The idea that we talked about is jumping. When you decided to, say, okay, I'm gonna put my eggs in this basket. Like the cybersecurity thing, it served me well. I was good at it for a while, but it's not who I am.
Right.
And it's not what most importantly, it's not who I am. Okay. But most importantly, it's not what I want to do with my time.
Correct.
It's just not what I want to do. So that decision to, again, take your toys and get the fuck out of there. We mentioned this, whenever we're talking, like going back with voice notes, but like that, the decisions, the reasons that you obviously moved back to the States, and then when you got there, whenever that opportunity opened to be able to do this, it was you. Like, we're always talking about resistance, we're talking about these things, and we have this like internal dialogue, but it was essentially you right then, like just stomping a mud hole right then in existence. And I mean, we may have said it, but I have to reiterate it because this is the main reason why I wanted to record this today, because it's you deciding for you that I want to go do this, and I can do this, and I believe that I can do this, and I fucking know that I can do this, and I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah, it's just,
and now
it was just putting myself first, right. And finally acknowledging and taking a good hard look. Like, this job is cool. It puts real nice bread on the table, and it feeds my family very well. And it's allowed me to do a lot of things, and it wasn't like hands me. I busted my ass to get to that point. But at some point, it was just like, fuck this fancy bread. I want to go make my own goddamn bread.
Oh, I fucking love that. Yeah.
I just, self-love and happiness is so, so important. And I've been struggling for a few years with it, but the job took us to Greece, and I didn't want to jeopardize us being in Greece because we loved it there. We had a lot of great friends there. We had a really good life there. And none of this is the reason we came back. There was other outlying issues of why we ended up coming back, but it was just like, what, we're back. I'm not playing this game anymore. It'll be, because if I like quit my job over there, that wasn't like immediate, like get shipped back to the US, but
right.
It's just prioritizing myself, and my needs and what I need to do to be happy, outside of, my wife, my dogs, and our house, like that, all that stuff's fantastic. We have an incredible relationship. It doesn't even feel like being married. We're just like two homies that live together. That's what it feels like, just best friends, which is how it should be, I think. But the rest of life, the internal me, needs to be happy also with the things I'm doing and the successes I'm having. And again, my big thing was inspections in that job. I was a absolute like all-star with getting inspected. Every time I've had perfect inspections, like no discrepancies, no findings, make the command look really good. But personally, I didn't give a shit. It didn't feel like anything. I didn't care about getting any, pats on the backs or handshakes for that shit. It was just like, yeah, man, it's just my job, and I don't really fucking care about it. But then to my coworkers, they're like, man, thank God you're here, and thank God you like took care of this thing. But it's just, I feel better, running around a tattoo shop, slinging my cameras around, doing the photo and video stuff like that. That stuff feels incredibly valuable to me. It's making other people feel good. I could probably rant on it all day, to be honest with you. I probably got off topic a little bit again, but the world
No,
changed.
this is why we're here.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is why we're here. I want you to rant.
the
That's
world
what
the
I
world
think it's
changed
very
for me.
important. And yeah, I think I want to say it. I think it's very important that, like I said, I think before I'm like like stumbling over myself. It's very important that people, I think, hear what you have to say because you do it. You did this for yourself, and I think more people need those kinds of examples. I mean, you did this for yourself, but you did it. I mean, you did it for obviously your wife and your family, but like you said yes to yourself. And so, anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted. You said the world changed.
Yeah, the world changed like immediately as soon as like I was staring at there was a form you had to fill out to do this like resignation thing, which like with the way they're doing it right now is like if you say like, hey, I'll quit, save the taxpayers some money, then they'll finish out the rest of the fiscal year and you'll like retain your pay and benefits and whatnot. So I stared at this form for like a couple days, and finally I was like, can't do it anymore. After I heard that that podcast essay being read and the whole pull my truck over and sit and contemplate life, I like the second I clicked the like submit button to shoot off like my name, put my name in the hat, like send me on my way, buddy, I'm out of here. It's like the color came back to the world. It was no longer just all dismal and actually all the things I like to see in video. It wasn't like all moody anymore, and the color came back and all the woo-woo shit, man. Like food tasted better, music sounded better. I started sleeping better immediately. I wake up in better moods, and it was like, yeah, these are all indications that this was the right choice. It was the breaking the golden handcuffs, that steady, reliable paycheck for the job you don't give a fuck about. Those are your golden handcuffs, and they're incredibly, incredibly hard to break. There was some fear and hesitance leading up to it, which we talked about it a lot, and I talked my wife's head off about it, and that's all I talked about for probably weeks. And then the minute I made the decision, it was like, all right, that was easy. Let's do this. Let's get after it.
Damn, dude.
And feeling accountable to me feels a hell of a lot easier than being accountable to the director I worked for, or the people that were waiting on me for answers or looking for me to get a job done. Now I answer to me now, and that's easy. It's much easier to get things done.
Can your current boss be an asshole sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes that dude runs a real tight ship. Sometimes it runs a real loose ship. Like, but for the most part, I'm just like, I got to do this thing. I'm going to do that thing. And I keep giving myself the same talk every time. Like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this now. This is insane. Why didn't I start doing this before? I can't believe people want to pay me to do this thing. Like, I'm just running around with my cameras and slinging video and audio and color and stuff and editing stuff, and I'm still doing the music production. Like, I had an artist here this week where we started recording an EP that he's going to be releasing late in the year, and he also wants to do a documentary with it. So it's like, I'm recording a guy and filming a guy, and I'm getting paid to do it. And this is just like, I just love doing this shit. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is the shit that you were doing on the side before, and now it's like, what now? Now instead of spending 8 hours a day in that mind suck job, and then you get home, you're like, okay, because we only have certain like a certain amount of energy stores. So then after you like give your energy towards this, what I would call, I think I read it somewhere, like somebody else's dream. Like when you work for a company, and not to say that it's shameful when people work and have jobs. Not to say that. I mean,
It's not. It's not at all.
Right. But it's like that was somebody's dream once upon a time.
Yeah.
And you work for them. But we all, like, knowing that we always have the ability to say, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I want to do something else. And do something else could be just getting a different job, or doing something else could be like, I'm going to create the job, like for me, right? And even, dude, I mean, we talk about this all the time, but like, how many times have we said that in this recording already? But like, Ah, shit, I lost my train of thought. Um, Damn. Oh, trying to do something in the creative industry, right? But trying to do something either creating or doing what you're doing, which is like production, right? Like production or in editing and these kind of things, but like which is in support of not always, but like in support of creative endeavors. Like it when you want to make money doing a creative endeavor, it is not fucking easy.
No, it's not. And
And
asking for money is just weird.
yeah,
It's always weird and uncomfortable. It's like, all right, now that we did, 10 hours of work to make this product, here comes the hard part.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but
You know,
it's
what I was
it's even
go
wilder
ahead.
how like the for the people that want this kind of work done, like that they're like, no, yes, absolutely, I value you and your time. Thank you for doing this thing that I don't have the skill in doing myself, or showcasing me doing my work. And obviously I can't tattoo a person and film myself and all that stuff at the same time, which, there's people out there that
Right.
do it, the content creators that, slap their phone on a tripod and call it good. But, they can't have somebody like walking circles around them and zooming in at specific times and changing focus to get certain things. And they're like, thank you so much for being here. And the gratitude is like appalling. I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal to me, man. Like, I like doing this. You asked me to be here. I'm here. So the gratitude on both sides is really, really cool. Like, I'm insanely, stoked that they hired me to do it, and insanely stoked that they are happy that I'm there.
Do you have a uh I mean, I'm not trying to be into like those people that are I don't know, into like super into routine type thing, but I'm curious because you did go from like whether it was military and then there was government service. So and now that you're self-employed, do you have like a I don't know, like a framework that you stick to when it comes to like the administrative or whatever things like for yourself, like certain days of the week you do this or do that as far as like making like cold calls or emails or do you keep yourself on like a routine like that?
Um, I don't know if there's really a routine developed. I have my habits, I guess. Like for each job, I have things that I do in like the same order every time. And the order that I work on the jobs is kind of goes on job priority and job deadline. And sometimes it's like, okay, this one's gonna be quick and easy. I'm gonna knock this out right now, so I can devote the time to that. Like uh, I'm in the middle of editing a mini documentary right now for a band, which is so far really cool. It'd be my first documentary I've done. I'm actually really stoked about it. And I was like, okay, new thing unlocked. I'm gonna look for more stories and more documentaries to do. So I've got a lot of that going on, but I'm gonna crank out this tattoo artist video I did a couple days ago because that's gonna be like quick and easy. Um, it'll be easier. I'll be able to knock that out in a couple of hours and have that off the shelf and good to go and go back to the longer format. I still gotta prioritize time for the feature length movie, the nano-budget horror movie we shot on Crete, which I'm happy to say is first draft is done. And that's another thing that came with the quitting my job and going into this full time is I was really struggling to find the time and energy and mental bandwidth to work on that movie. And there's a lot hanging over your head there. There's 4 other
Yeah.
producers on it. There's deadlines. There's VFX artist in Los Angeles and another one in the United Kingdom. And I'm just like, oh my God, everybody's waiting on me. I got to edit this thing. And I got to sound design it. And I got to color grade it. And I got to get this musical scoring done because all the artists we talked to get scoring done had incredibly high prices, which is fair. And they deserve those prices, but it's just not in our budget for this film. This is I quit my job. It became easy. Like I got more editing done in a week than I did in like 2 months. But also I got like 11 hours of my day back. I was spending an hour or more driving to and from work every day because of traffic. It's like 13 miles to where I worked, but traffic is so crazy at that time of day because everybody's going to work and everybody's doing the same thing. And I sit at this place for 8.5 hours because, you're not paid for your lunch break. And then slog through half hour, 45 minutes to get home. And then, you got to do the important stuff like hang out with your wife and, tend to those needs and make sure she's all good and see how her day went and give the dogs time because they're these little creatures that we've imprisoned and they're in our house. They deserve the love and attention as well. And then, cook dinner, eat dinner, relax, unwind from the grueling work day. And it's like, okay, it is now 8 o'clock at night. I need to get some editing work done, but I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning and I am exhausted. It's not for, I don't want to do the work. It's just the bandwidth, it wasn't there. And now I wake up with a brand new refreshed bandwidth every single day. And I can just, and all of my work now is all in the creative world. And like, that's like winning the lottery. Like if you offered me like, hey, I'll give you $10 million right now to never do this again, or you just keep doing this, I'm going to say, you keep your fucking money, bud.
Dude, that's so, man, that's an insanely just insightful perspective, dude.
Thanks. I just feel like a kid just having fun, man. Like the 15-year-old me is just like, dude, this is sick. I'm like playing with cameras all day and coloring footage and editing photos and chopping up video clips and finding a story in them and playing guitar and mixing guitar and recording other artists. Like, well, how can you be mad at this?
Last night, because you sent me that message today and you were like, bro, I had a press pass and you were like filming like band, like hardcore bands, right?
Yes. Yeah, hardcore, metal, southern metal, things of that nature.
Okay, but anyway, like you said like, dude, I'm like, I have a press pass and I'm here like on in an official like work capacity, but I'm like, I fucking love this. Like you're the guy either, in the past, you were either the guy on the stage or the guy attending to the concert, which you'd still attend concerts too, but now you're doing it in this way, but you're like, holy shit, like I'm getting, like this is like my job now, right?
Yeah, so that was that worked out really well. That was my first time being allowed behind like the barricades and on the stage doing media stuff. I've been to a lot of concerts. I've done some concert photography in smaller venues, but I always reach out to see like what are the requirements to get a media pass. I don't just show up like, hey, can I film? I always I always email the venue first and find out if there's an event coordinator and you got to go through them to get media passes. What's the official process? As much as I like the guerrilla filmmaking, like I do with my short films, like plan it out, show up on the location, get the shots, get the hell out of there before anybody, shows up and gives you shit. I love that. But, at an event like this that people have put time and energy into organizing, and then there's the tour managers and the band managers, usually it's, hey, we're all booked up, or hey, all the bands have a hired media guy. It's not going to be realistic for you this time. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And a lot of these shows, they don't allow you to bring in any media equipment unless you're on a list. And I still go anyway. I don't care. I'm still going to go. Live music. There's nothing better than going to a show that's just full of heavy music. It makes other music seem boring. And it's no offense to other music. It all has its place. But like going to like an indie show or a R&B show, it's just like, man, this ain't doing it for me. The music's great, but I could just listen to this from home instead. But the energy at metal shows is nuts. Anyway, getting off topic. So this was, a few shout outs are coming in. This was organized by an organization called Aura Fest, Aura, A-U-R-A Fest. They're based out of Savannah, Georgia. And I'm pretty decent friends with, I know the guy who runs it, Tim Walls. Shout out to Tim Walls for allowing this last night. I reached out to him months ago, like, hey, I'm back in the U.S. I'm going full speed ahead with digital media work. I see you've got this fest in May. I would love to attend it and be a part of it. And but no harm, no foul. If you already have a media crew hired, I'm still going to be there regardless. And he was like, well, all of our paid spots are full right now, and the bands have their own, their own hired digital media guys. So, it's the floor's kind of theirs. And I was like, no problem, dude. I'll still see you there, man. I can't wait to catch up. It's been like four-ish years, maybe more. And we talked a little bit in between. And he was like, hey, I'm gonna get you on the list for media anyway. I can't pay you. All that budget's already eaten up for the rest of the media there, but I'll put you on the list so you can still get in. And I was like, dude, that is amazing. Thank you so much. Eternally grateful. That was like a dream come true for me. Like, I've always wanted to be behind the barricade, up close and personal with the band, like flinging cameras around and getting the cool shots of them so I can give them the cool shots and be like, look how fucking cool you look doing your thing, following your dream. Let me show you off. And then, it got me access to other photographers and other media folks, and to rub elbows with and talk shop and just get to meet and be human around. It was fantastic. And shout out to, man, if I say his name wrong, I apologize. I think his name is Nosh, Nox, Nosh. He is currently on tour with the headlining band that was there last night, and they had some rules in place, like everybody else could only photo, video for their first 3 songs. And I just talked to him for a few minutes and was like, hey, man, I'll get out of your way, when security shoots us all off. And he was like, you know what, man, you came over and talked to me for a little bit and related on some things. I'll let security know and the band know that you're good to go for the whole set. And I was like, what? So
Dude,
that was really cool, and I wanted to take full advantage of it. Stay out of his way and try to stay out of his shots. But do my thing, go through my process. After security had shooed everybody else away, and it was a great time. I was like, man, this is what I've been trying to get to for years. I've been trying to get the permission, the access to go do this instead of just be a prick and like jump the barricade and get in there and wait for security to grab me and say, hey, fuck off, man. It was the best time. Like, it was a long show. It was from like 3 p.m. till almost midnight. And I'm sore and I'm tired and I got way more footage than necessary. I recorded like the whole set of damn near every band. So I have a lot of footage to go through and make some good edits. And just to hand off to the bands or hand off to their managers, hand off to the festival organizer. So shout out to Cancer Bats and Evergreen Terrace and He Is Legend and Strawberry Girls and Fury. I fucked that up. The Maxines, like it was a stellar show. I was honored and felt privileged to be able to, document it and get it on the SD card and get to sit through it and call all the do the culling of the herd of data and do my process and hand it over. And hopefully they dig it, and hopefully there'll be some dividends on the backside that I get asked to come back for some of these gigs, and we'll see. It's just paying the dues. It's putting in the work. It's showing up. It's the meeting people. It's the talking, the making the connections.
Yeah, man. As we say, this is the dream, right?
This is the
dream. Right then, this is the dream. That's one of our personal mottos, man, and or one of our duo mottos, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, while you were saying it and just like listening to you talk about it and everything, like while you were saying it, you can tell like that this is like you were just so stoked on it, dude. I mean, the connection you had with your friend that organized, and then him coming back and saying, hey, we'll let you in, I can't pay you. And like you said, right now, and this goes like with everything when it comes to being in a band or when you're starting out these things, some of the things that you do, there might not be monetary compensation for,
right.
But if you are there and you're providing, like, especially when you're like doing what you're doing now, like your reputation as a photographer, filmographer, editor, producer, documentarian, whatever, is going to, like, your reputation as that, even if you're providing, this, and you did this thing for free, it's going to, once you finish making these things and you send them off, that's like a part of you. Like, that is you. Right?
Yeah.
How you do anything is how you do everything. And when people see that, like that guy saying you can do it, and then you going, and then you just being personable with that guy, you said Nosh, I think you said Nox, you being personable with him, and then him being the kind of character that he has as a person, says, I'm going to tell these guys to let you in and to let you stay for the whole set. And it's just you being you. You're not kissing ass. You're just being you. And then now you're going to create this product. You were afforded the opportunity that you otherwise never would have had if you didn't try to like nourish these relationships and like be authentic, right? Like with these things. If you didn't even, it's none of it's fake. And your product, because I know you and your fucking filmography and photography shit is, and editing shit and music shit is fucking insanely good.
Well, thank you.
So
man.
when those things released into the wild from your mind and your fingers, dude, they're gonna love that shit. 100%. They're gonna love that shit.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
And those things right then become your business. They become they're part of your business card or your brand nowadays. That's like the buzz term now. Everybody likes to say brand, but that's the goal. And those things, as we know, dude, we talked about this before, but like 2 years ago, or like 3 or 4 years ago. Fuck, even remembering thinking of that. No, like 2 or 3 years ago, when we just started, when you and I made that initial, when I told you about my story idea.
Hey, this is all your fault. This is all your fault, just so you know.
Yeah.
All of this is your fault.
It's not my fault.
No, dude, it's definitely your fault.
It was just me.
I was just I was an audio guy and a photographer on the side for fun. Like I didn't do paid photo gigs. I did some aerial photography work for a little while, did real estate stuff, but I didn't really enjoy it. It was just kind of like when the opportunity struck, I would do it. It wasn't like a successful thing. It's just okay, I'll do this. And then you came to me and were like, I've got this film idea in my head. I'm not really sure how to go about it. And I was like, I've got a camera that does video. And then we went through the motions. We did the location scouting. We found a guy to be the actor for it, found the vehicle, picked the time of the day, and we just went and fucking did it. And I was like, what? How have I not been doing this forever? Thanks, Tyler. Like you just showed me where my love of music and photo and visual arts all come together in one medium. And the task of cinematography and filming, you got to have the music, you got to have the picture, you got to have the good colors and the good lighting. And I was like, oh, I can just wrap up all of my hobbies into this one thing, and I'm just going to run with that now.
It just, like, to me, it just made sense. Like whenever we were talking about it and stuff, it just made sense because I'm similar to you. And of course, when I get these big ideas because I'm into the writing, into that whole sort of like that aspect there, but I don't have because I never put in time to have like too much of the technical acumen. Like you always know, I always call myself just a complete imbecile when it comes to that stuff. I know what I think looks good, but oftentimes I don't know how to make well, if I don't, I'll go to YouTube or I'll figure it out, right? But when I saw you, who was a great friend of mine, how I got along so well, but you sort of like were the opposite section of that yin and yang thing when it came to that, I was like, oh, I think he would have a good time doing this too. And just as I love doing this. And that was why I brought it up, because I saw that there was an opportunity and potential there. But for me, it was almost like when I saw all and the photography and the film stuff and your guitar playing, I was like, how does this guy not see how good he is? That was what I probably went through my mind. It was more of a feeling than anything. But you know what I mean? But anyway, fast forward now. I can't believe I got back on that train from that tangent. I'm pretty proud of myself right now. Because usually I just go too far down and that's it. So fast forward, however many years it's been, 2.5 years, 3 years since that day. Like this is what you're doing. And like, I'm just telling you, as one of my fucking homies of homies, I'm super proud of you. And
I thank you so much.
it's so inspiring, and that's not hyperbole. And I've said it like 3 times. And again, that was like the initial impetus of me wanting to do this conversation right now, because I haven't done it in 2 years for many. I don't even know the last time I did one. I haven't done it in a while for many different reasons. But when you were talking about it the other day, and seeing your journey, and seeing you choosing yourself, and seeing you doing those things, like, I just think more people need to hear it, and more people need to see it. And I just think, yeah, you're killing it, man.
Man, I
Straight
thank
killing
you.
it.
And for anybody who ends up watching this, I badger Tyler several times a day with just my thoughts and what I'm thinking during in the moment of when I'm working on a project, or when I'm done with the project, or planning for the project, and just send him the minutia, the sausage making in my brain, and he responds in kind. And I think everybody needs to have a friend like that. So if you don't have a Tyler, go get you one. You can't have my Tyler, but you can go get another Tyler. And make sure Tyler's also got a fantastic Substack where he does a lot of writing on. That needs to be paid attention to. So if you listen to this, you see this, go find that. I'll let him plug that link in there. We'll put it over the video. While I'm on the train of shoutouts, this goes into the the big decision to quit my job and go after this thing, follow my bliss or pursue my dream, or however you want to put it, whatever cliche. There's a fella that's up in the like Philly and New Jersey area that I don't know him incredibly personally. I've crossed paths a few times over the last like 15 years or more at shows. He played guitar in a metal band called Years Spent Cold, and he was in a hardcore band called CDC. His name's Kurt Fowles. You can find him on Instagram at Oh Crap It's Kurt. He runs a company called Serious Cinema and Serious Weddings, or Weddings by Serious. I should have looked that up before I started talking. But he is another person that's like out there doing the good work. He's covering huge concerts for bands I've been listening to since I was a young lad, bands that got me into listening to metal. And it was all from putting in the reps, putting in the work, getting out there, doing the dirty shooting, the guerrilla warfare shooting. And it's his full-time job. He goes on rock and metal cruises and follows bands around. And I believe he's at the Rockville Fest right now, like doing interviews with Jesse Leach, that's in Killswitch Engage, and he's worked with that guy several times over the years. And like I try to give that guy flowers any time I can, man. Like I see you are putting in the fucking work. I know you are working your ass off, and you're probably busier than all hell and not sleeping much. But dude, it is noticed, and he's absolutely killing the game. From a few years ago, seeing him do a handful of like music videos, and still working his way up to now. It's like he's got other people that work with him, and that's amazing. That's the goal. That's what I told the fellow last night that let me shoot for that whole set, and I was like, dude, you are living the life right now. Maybe you don't see it, but like, how many of us out here slinging cameras around, like, want to go on tour with the band and be their digital media and drive the tour van at night so they can rest and change strings on fucking guitars and put microphones on drums. Like, that's amazing. And I think those folks should be recognized for all the good that they are doing, and they're putting that content out into the world for other folks to see, and also the bands to show off and be like, dang, look how cool we look out here doing our thing. We're following our dream, and somebody's willing to follow us and document it. And I just think that's incredible stuff, man. That's powerful shit.
Yep, and you're in that, yeah, you're in that same ecosystem with him now, man, and he's been doing it for a while, and I would say the only difference there is it's just going to be time and consistency, right? Like,
Yeah.
people like him.
I'm nowhere in it yet.
People like him. Yep, people like him, and and what's going to be people like you, and people that they show up for themselves. That's what it is, right? They show up for themselves, and they put on the grind, and they give themselves rest whenever they need it, but they're doing it because they really believe in it, man. You know, you mentioned at the beginning, you mentioned that thing that you read, you probably read it off, that Chris Williamson said. He has a newsletter, right?
Yes, he does.
And so I read it every week. I've subscribed to a lot of newsletters, and he's one of them. And I like the beginning part of his deal, because he's like chewing on something that he's been thinking about, and you could tell. I like reading it because I could tell his thought process, and I can understand how he writes it over time, and he's changed, and he uses very careful words, and I really like how he writes it. But I can't make a specific quote right now. But it was either last week or the week before. He was writing about people that have a difficult time turning it off, like when you're just going, and then you have a difficult time turning it off, and having a difficult time, like, telling yourself you did a good job, and have it. And man, like I said, I can't say whatever it was specifically, but I really, really felt what he was talking about, man. And he does such a good job articulating those ideas about giving yourself a break, about how hustle culture and those things are inherently not good for you.
Man, hustle culture is just insane. It's insane. I'm not going to cut you off, so I'll get on a tangent with that.
Yeah. So he's just really good at articulating it. And I like it because I can tell by the way he writes that he's writing from experience. He's writing to himself. That's what he's doing. And I just think it's one of those things. So in a way that, his way of thinking there, and while you were in this sort of transition, like you were already kind of on the fence, but then when you pulled over to the side of the road because you heard something that he said and it affected you so much, like Chris didn't know that what he's saying was going to affect a guy in South Carolina who's driving work, and who ultimately, but in a stew of many different ideas and decision points, but that was one of the spices in the stew. But Chris didn't know that he was going to have a big part in being able to help you make up your mind, and it's inspiring, man.
Yeah, if I could shake that guy's hand, I fucking would.
Yeah.
I could probably find him if I tried hard enough. I think he's in Texas somewhere. That's not too far, but that'd be weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, man.
Maybe I'll cross paths with him one day, and I'll just be like, "Hey, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for fixing my life, or give me the words I needed to hear to take action, do it myself." And there was another one, another quote that I don't know if it's his specifically, but I heard him say it, that the antidote for anxiety is action. And I think about that like daily whenever I am overthinking, like, oh, I gotta go work on this thing, like I don't know how I'm gonna do it, I'm just I don't know how I should edit this, how I should color it, like what's the vibe here. And then the second I just put my ass in my chair and start doing it, all that anxiety is gone. So I just
true.
I just try to put that into action quicker now, instead of, as soon as I'm like, how am I going to do this? I'm just going to go do it right now instead of pondering, because
true.
Thinking and planning is good, but it's still not action. So go do it.
The other day, that story that I told earlier about me and my drums.
Yep.
And setting up my drums. Dude, I'm not kidding, because you told me that the antidote to anxiety is action. You told me that it was like a month or two ago. You either wrote it to me or it was a voice message. And I've been thinking about it a lot too. And again, within my recent time in my life, I've been having significant, like, just these prone to anxiety for different reasons. And when I did the drums thing, it was like, that was the thought that popped into my head. I was like, oh, dude, just do it. Antidote to anxiety is action. Just do it. And now, like, even I was doing it even today. I started stewing over it. I was like, no, just go, just do it, just do it.
Yeah,
And
just do it, man.
I
It's
felt so much better with it, man.
and that's and that stuff's all in attempting to be a more high agency person, which is another thing that I came across in podcasts. I hadn't really thought about it, or didn't realize there was a name for it, what I was trying to be like, but having high agency. And another, this is completely stolen. This isn't my, not stolen, it's borrowed. I scratched it off the surface of somebody else, but there's another, I couldn't tell you which podcast I was listening to that said it, but there's probably another Chris Williamson one, or who knows. But if you're trying to find out if you're a high agency person or not, think about if you got locked up in jail and you were innocent, who's the first person you call? The person you know is going to answer the phone and is going to take action. That is the most high agency person you know.
Wow.
And just to be take action. Like, if you're one of those people that's like, you get a phone call at 2 a.m. and it's like, hey, dude, I got locked up, but I'm innocent. And you go, okay, I'll be think about it. Let me see what I can do. I'll get back to you in the morning. And then the next day comes, they're like, hey, I'm still locked up. I'm planning a prison break here. And you're like, yeah, I thought about the prison break. I'll have a plan for you in a week. That's low agency, right? That's
Right.
It's not how you want to be. And so I think about the antidote for anxiety and high agency a lot. And I feel like I'm becoming a better person for it, and becoming more actionable, and overall taking a lot more control of my own life. And another really popular theme that we've talked about is not letting life just happen to you, but you happening to life. There's going to be the extremes, like family illness and all those awful things, and health, but outside of that, like, you should be happening to life, not just sitting around letting it happen to you.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to. That's
so true.
That's my whole thing right now. I'm just trying to be actionable, trying to be accountable with myself, and prioritize my energy and how I want to make my living and how I want to live my life, and just extreme agency, extreme accountability, extreme action. Just, you think about it, go do it. Some stuff obviously requires a hell of a lot more planning, like moving halfway around the world. That was not okay, let's just do this. I had to pack the house and find a house to move into and figure out getting the dogs back and all the logistics and the sausage making that goes in there. But outside of extremes, action.
Dude, you're doing it, bro.
You're doing it. I'm really trying to, man. And I'm learning. A lot of learning is occurring every time I turn my camera on. I'm learning something new. It's a new situation. It's new lighting. It's new variables, new moving parts, and that's probably my favorite part of it, is adjusting on the fly and figuring it the hell out while doing it. Like, yeah.
I think when you can add learning to the thing that you already love, that is a life secret. Like, when you could say, I'm basically paying myself right now to learn. I'm paying myself for my curiosity. The amount of my curiosity is actually what's powering me and my business, because the more curious I am, the more I'm going to seek out learning, and the more that I learn, the better I'm going to be. And the better you're going to be, you're going to see things that you couldn't see before, because now you have a higher view of things. So now you're going to say, oh, I'm curious about this now. And then you're going to learn this. And then, like, every single aspect, you keep just building and building and building. And that's like a secret. That's a fucking superpower. And it's a secret to life, man.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
We're going to wrap it up here. Can you tell us where your, all the socials and your website and the things that, if people want to find you and they want to hire you, can you tell me all them things, please?
Absolutely. The company is called JDAM Production House. On Instagram, it's just JDAM Production House. And my personal Instagram is JD0T Adams. That's J. Adams, essentially, which is got a goofy, funny story behind it, but we'll save that for another time. And I do audio production, mixing, mastering, cinematography, business commercials, social media videos. Trying to add in concert coverage for mostly video. I found last night that I had both. I had my photo and video camera with me, and I barely touched my photo camera. I was enjoying the video process a hell of a lot more. Yeah, so catch me at local shows around Savannah and Charleston, and say what's up.
And wherever else life may find you.
Wherever else life may find me. Maybe one day it'll find me in a different city every night for a while. End up on tour with a band, which would be that cool. I wanna check that box. I wanna experience that, man.
It's gonna happen, man. I know you, man. It's gonna happen, man.
Time will tell. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'm just having a blast, and I really appreciate you having me, man. Wanting to have this conversation.
Of course, man. I mean, we have, like I said, we talk about everything all the time, but
Yeah.
it's always a joy for me. So, all right, that's out. That's it.
All right, man.
Cut it.
Cheers, dude.
All right. See ya.